Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for helping my video on Saturday talking about one character I'd add from every existing franchise in Smash Brothers. That video has popped off over 1,700 views as of recording this video. Has kind of like really helped my channel in a huge way. I'm already at 924 subscribers. We're like really close to 1,000 now. Like it's just incredible. So if you checked out that video and you're new to the channel because of that one, thanks so much for coming here. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. It was really fun making. Let me know in the comment section down below what other Smash videos you'd like me to create, because I do that every Smash Saturday, or at least every other Saturday I try and do it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Today I want to talk about something that is really exciting. That is more handheld consoles. Now, I've always been a big fan of handheld consoles ever since I was a kid. My first one was a Game Boy Advance SP, which I absolutely adored, and then I got a DS, and then I got a 3DS. I got a PlayStation Vita at one point, and that became my favorite console for a very long time until the Switch came out and eventually surpassed it just because of its longevity and the more games and everything. But I love handheld consoles. I think they're just so fantastic. And the fact that we're looking at so many big players in the industry getting into handheld game consoles and like little handheld PCs and stuff, it's just really cool. I like the idea a lot, and seeing them like push the technology and get really fantastic things out there is just fantastic. Like I said before, the Vita was just like a revolutionary piece of hardware. I loved that thing. It had so much promise, and Sony kind of fumbled it. But that's why this is so exciting. Sony is apparently prepping to launch a new dedicated handheld console. Not a refresh of the PlayStation Portal, not anything like that. A full-on console to launch alongside the PlayStation 6 whenever that launches. They didn't give a specific time period, but there's some insider sources that have been cited here saying that they're planning on doing this. Now, I have seen other reports of a new Sony handheld being in the works, but this is the more concrete that they're saying with the PlayStation 6, a full-blown handheld console with its own games and everything. It just gets me really excited. I loved the Vita. I loved the PlayStation Portable as well. The PSP was a fantastic system. They did a lot with that to push technology and how much like you could do in terms of graphical fidelity, especially on a handheld console. The Vita is still incredible to this day. It's a powerhouse console. I feel like it does better than the Switch in a lot of regards. Maybe not exclusively. The Switch has a lot of its first-party games run really, really well. But it just makes me excited to see what Sony is going to do when in response to the Switch 2 and the Switch's success, to be honest. They kind of dipped out of portable gaming. They launched the PlayStation Portal, which was a glorified PS Play, an extra screen you can remote play. There we go. A glorified remote play console for a long time, until they added like stuff like actually being able to stream utilizing Wi-Fi and everything, so you can use like PlayStation Plus Premium and you can play all those games via streaming, which is really, really cool. So they're experimenting with that. They're doing some more stuff. I think they were really testing the market to see how well it did, and I guess fortunately for us, it sold really well, even though it looked like a piece of garbage at launch. It's done extremely well, and they've updated it, made it really cool. So now that they're doing that, it makes me interested to see what they're going to do with this next PlayStation Portable console and what they're going to call it. First and foremost, since the PlayStation Portal is essentially the PSP refresh, I'd love for them to do something very much in the vein of the PlayStation Vita. Make some kind of interesting gimmick. I liked the back touchpad. I thought it was really, really cool. I'd like them to do something unique with it, and then spec the heck out of that thing. I would love to see it be a really strong contender, because the Switch 2 looks really powerful. It honestly does. It looks like it's going to run games really well. I just saw footage of Cyberpunk 2077 running on it in docked mode. Looks pretty darn good compared to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. I'm not going to lie. It looks really nice. But I think Sony could do a lot better. And in talking with that, I think Microsoft could too. There have been rumors and leaked images of them partnering with, I believe it was ROG Ally, for like their second edition of their handheld PC. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily like a dedicated Xbox handheld, but I think that they're doing like a crossover with them. Maybe it's going to be a dual thing, so it can like have its own software, but also runs Microsoft stuff really well. But that's something that I saw as well. It looks like Microsoft and Sony are really going to jump into the portable games market again, for Sony again, and Microsoft really in full force now, because they see that that's the direction that gaming is going. I think Nintendo has really hamstrung themselves at this point. They don't really have potential for just a dedicated home console. This is something that my buddy Shin0555 talked about, how they've kind of put themselves in a corner now. I don't think it's a terrible corner to be stuck in this hybrid console thing, but the fact that Sony has a dedicated home console that's super powerful, same thing with Microsoft, and now they have the luxury of releasing a handheld console as well to go along with it, means that they can kind of double dip here. Maybe it won't be as lucrative as we think it will. That's, I mean, part of the reason the Nintendo Switch has sold so well is that it does have the capability of being both. So maybe we're overestimating how much that will affect their bottom line here, but I think it will be very valuable. I think that people will see the value in that, especially with home consoles not being especially fantastic this generation. In terms of like hardware, they're pretty fantastic. SSDs are really cool, but having the portability is really huge. More people are gravitating toward those handheld PCs. More people are gravitating toward the Switch itself. It's becoming the best-selling console of all time in front of our eyes. Like, it's getting really, really close. Last I checked, I think it was in March of this year, it was at 152 million units sold. It's only 8 million behind the PS2. It's absolutely going to reach that. It's absolutely going to reach that. They're going to keep it on the market for a couple more years. It's going to be the best-selling console of all time. So I think that Sony doing this now and Microsoft doing this now, I think is very smart. And I think this will drive some competition in the space as well. I think this will be really good, at least. If nothing else, even if it doesn't sell extremely well, it's going to put some pressure on Nintendo to maybe up the ante even a little bit more. Maybe be more competitive in their pricing, because they are right now kind of sitting on their own. They're just saying we can charge whatever we want because we have the best handheld console right now. So I'm really excited by this. I think that if we got a really super ultra powerful PlayStation portable console that rivals the PlayStation 5 in terms of quality, because the PlayStation Vita could play PlayStation 3 games with the PlayStation 3 out. PlayStation Portable was the same way. You could get like PlayStation 2 style graphics. It was phenomenal. It was way ahead of its time. The Nintendo DS and the 3DS could run Nintendo 64 games. That was the best it could do. Maybe, and a couple like GameCube that they had to do some reworking, like Luigi's Mansion and everything. But for the most part, it couldn't handle anything close to what the Vita could do. It was running Uncharted Golden Abyss. It was running some Gravity Rush. It was doing some insane things on that console. So I'm excited to see what Sony's going to do with that. Microsoft as well, if they're doing like a dedicated one. If it's just going to be another like PC and then they're going to put the logo on it and everything, I'm less excited about that. But I am very excited about what Sony will do. I like the Sony ecosystem. I have lots of games digitally, especially from back when. So I'd love to see a new portable console. I still play on my Vita to this day, so I'm really interested in that. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Are you excited about the direction of mobile gaming here? Do you think Sony's going to have a really strong console? Do you think it will still fail to compete with Nintendo, or do you think it'll be really good comparatively speaking? And do you think Microsoft's going to launch something good as well? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.